In today's video, we are going to find out the real world MPG on this V8 Range Rover. But more specifically, how many miles can we get from one tank of fuel and how much is it going to cost us to fill up this tank? Forget what you hear about Range Rovers and the statistics that tell you about running them. I am going to run a real world test to find out exactly how much it costs to get through a full tank on a 3.6 TD V8 Range Rover. I'll be driving it around town and on the motorway to make this as real and fair as possible to give you an accurate real world range. So let's get on with the test and find out how this old tank still lives up in 2024. If I'm being completely honest, I am dreading doing this video today. This car is no joke when it comes to fuel. It's a 3.6 turbo diesel V8, but a very, very old engine with old technology, and it's done 124,000 miles. So the aim of today is we're gonna fill up this tank and see in the real world how many miles can you actually get, taking it on the motorway, using it for my local trips, just using it like a normal car that you would use with all your errands. So it is gonna be a bit of an expensive test. I've never done a full tank of fuel in this car, and this will probably be the first and only full tank I do in this car. But as it stands, we've got 11 miles left in this tank, so we do need to get some diesel put in as soon as possible. The mileage is 124,790 miles, 17-year-old engine. Let's see how many miles we can get out of this tank. Same as before, we're just putting regular diesel in. I have no idea how many litres this car takes, but I have a bad feeling this is going to be a very, very expensive fill up. More expensive than the L322 which I done a couple of weeks ago. But if you are enjoying this type of content and you want to see more things with these Range Rovers, guys, hit that subscribe button for me right now. It makes a massive difference to the channel and it helps me do more and more things like what we're doing today. Currently £75. My guess is we're going to be £115 exactly. Normally I put in about 30 quid in this car and it doesn't even probably do me 100 miles, so it is going to be interesting to see what happens. We're just approaching the £100 mark. The L322, that was £94 I think to fill up a full tank. £110 and it's still not stopping. 115. Is it leaking? £120 is still going. £127.67 to the first click. 89.97 litres. But this is one expensive test. I cannot tell you the last time I put £127 of fuel in, but let me head inside, pay for this fuel, and then I'm going to explain exactly how we're going to do this test and find out how many miles we can get done on this Range Rover. Let me find my wallet. Sorry? YouTuber. Yeah.
I see you around.
Yeah, I've done it a few times. Thanks, man.
Okay,
Cheers. Check it out. It's called Buysellcars TV, yeah? See you later, mate. Nice guy at the petrol station. Hopefully we got a new subscriber to the channel. So, as it stands, we've put in £127.67 off regular diesel, 89.97 litres, which is, honest to God, just astronomical for the amount of fuel which I've put into this car. But as it stands, just put the ignition on, we've got a tank range of 493 miles. So it'll be interesting to see if we can actually achieve that. So two things I need to do is make a note of the mileage and reset the trip computer, both on the mileage as well as the fuel consumption, so we can compare how many miles does this car do in comparison to what the range is showing, but more so, what is the real world MPG we're actually going to achieve, and we can compare that to what the computer says. So as you know, on the last Range Rover test I done, there was a bit of a difference, so it's going to be interesting to see what we get. But 493 miles from £127 of fuel, this is a bit of a guzzler. So what we'll do now is I'm going to get on with the rest of my week, carry on like normal. We'll have a catch up once we get to halfway. So once the car's on half tank, I'll let you know how the journeys have been going, what we've been averaging, and just generally what types of drives I've been doing. And then at the end of the video, we'll come back to the same petrol station, fill up the tank again, and then we can work out exactly the real world MPG of this car and how many miles have we got from a full tank of fuel. So stay tuned, hit that like button and hit that subscribe button if you're enjoying this content. I'll see you guys shortly. Guys, just a quick update onto where we are in this journey. So last night I actually just drove over the halfway mark. So it was a little bit dark, a little bit late. So I thought, let me get the car back and I'll give you an update on where we are. So last night, I'll pop it on the screen now to show you exactly where we were. We had hit 240 miles into our journey and the range was showing us a remainder of 285 miles left in the tank. That 285 miles is a little bit ambitious because I'd just come off the motorway, so that would have been based on motorway driving, not so much of an average consumption of city and motorway. So we're yet to see what we're actually going to achieve on a full tank, but I think that 285 is a little bit ambitious, but we'll find out. In terms of fuel consumption, the trip computer was showing us an average of 26.6 miles per gallon. You can ignore the top one where it says fuel consumption 1 because I did not reset that. The one which we reset was fuel consumption 2 at the point of where I got this car full tanked. Now, in terms of what type of driving I've been doing on that halfway, the first 140 miles or so was done predominantly with just city driving, in town, in traffic, that sort of driving. The other 100 miles up until the half tank was done from a motorway trip. So I took the car up on the motorway. So we've had a good mixture of about 60-40 split. We've still got half a tank to get through. As it stands, 240 miles driven, 285 miles still showing on the range, and an average fuel consumption of 26.6 miles per gallon. But by the end of the video, we are going to find out, can this car get over 500 miles on one tank of real world driving? Stay tuned, don't go anywhere. I'm going to see you guys at the fuel station once we get another full tank put into this Range Rover. Not looking forward to that one. So we're back at the fuel station now after doing nearly a full tank in the Range Rover. The fuel light has come on. I have driven 440 miles so far and the range is still showing a reading of 44 miles. So still a little bit of fuel left, but obviously I don't want to run a diesel down too much. When we did fill it up, it was completely empty and I don't really want to do that again. So that's how many miles we've driven. That's how much we've got left on the range. In terms of the actual fuel consumption of what the car is showing, it is showing a reading of 25.7 miles per gallon. I don't think the car's done 25.7 miles per gallon if I'm honest, but that's what the computer's showing. 44 miles left on the range. Let's jump out, put some diesel in, and hopefully we can finance and fund the rest of this tank. So let's jump out now. So what I'm going to do is we're going to get the car filled up again. It is quite late at night actually, it's about 10:30 at night, but I still wanted to get the footage done to get this calculation on off how much fuel we're using, because I'm actually quite excited to know, is the computer telling us the truth on the miles per gallon and how much is it actually going to cost us. But one thing I do know for sure is this car is no joke when it comes to maintenance on fuel. It is bloody expensive. So nothing fancy, regular diesel again. I'm saying this time £112 I'm going with to fill up this tank. We're doing it the same as before, so I'm just going to fill it up to the first click to try and make this test as fair as possible. Doing these tests does get really expensive for me, so guys, if you are enjoying this content and you appreciate all of this, guys, do me a favor, just hit that subscribe button for me right now. It's a massive help. It gives me more motivation to do these types of tests and insights for you guys. So hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. Is this what it's like being a YouTuber, having to film videos when it's nearly 11 o'clock at night on a Sunday? If it can pay for this full tank, then I'm happy. £85 currently. I'm definitely going to need to use my credit card for this one. This is the 4th full tank I've done on a Range Rover in literally a matter of weeks. Do you reckon eventually they're going to introduce PCP finance for filling up cars when it gets really expensive? Especially with all these tax increases. Times are hard. Times are getting tough. 107, what did I say? 112 or 113? 111, 112. 113. I've run out of money. Oh, it's getting close. £118.98 to the first click. Have you got any money you can lend me? Can you lend me some money? I tell you what, guys, having a V8 diesel Range Rover, it does get a bit expensive, but I love this car. I really enjoy driving it, and you know, if that means chucking in a lot of fuel and it's not the best on fuel, so be it. I absolutely adore this car. But let's go pay for this fuel now. Do you reckon they take finance? Just. Thank you, boss. Can I pay later? Do you do buy now, pay later? Boss man's not impressed. Thanks, man. Thank you. Boss man's not impressed with me. Anyway, let's jump back in the car. We're going to calculate everything and work out exactly how much this all costs. So let's hop in now. Let's get the calculator up and let's see what this car has done on real world miles per gallon. Let's get in. Okay, so car's fueled up now and I've got the receipt here so we can work out exactly how much this car has cost to fuel. So it's showing as we stand at the moment on the fuel consumption. There are two readings. Obviously the top one, fuel consumption one, I didn't reset. That's just from before, but the fuel consumption, which I had reset, is fuel consumption 2. So that is showing currently 25.7 miles per gallon. Let's calculate it now and see what we actually get in the real world driving. So fuel cost is 141.9. So fuel is a little bit expensive compared to when we last done this, but it doesn't make a difference what we're doing. Total spend £118.98. So we'll just round it up to another 2 pence to £119. And distance traveled is 440 miles, 0.9. So 441 miles. Calculate the real MPG, and that is giving us a real world MPG average of 23.91 miles per gallon. So not actually too far off what the car is showing. And in fact, the reading of this is closer than when I did the same test on my newer 2019 Range Rover. So as it stands, the difference between this and what the car is showing is only approximately about 1.8 miles per gallon, which is, for me, is enough for there to be a bit of a, difference, or a bit of a threshold difference. So that's pretty good. Now, in terms of actual numbers, 23.9 miles per gallon averaged. Do I think that's good, or do I think that's pretty bad? Considering this is an old V8 engine that's done 125,000 miles with old technology, and it's a big old bus, this car, I don't think it's that bad. 23.9 is pretty much acceptable. My newer Range Rover was averaging, I think it was 31 or 32 miles per gallon. So again, a little bit of difference, but that will be a lighter car. That is not a V8 engine, that is a V6 diesel. So extra 2 cylinders on this car will mean more fuel consumption. But the reality of this is, if you go by the statistics of this car, it's not that bad at all. The combined consumption of this car is meant to do 25 miles per gallon. So by me doing 23.9, and my style of driving is just driving this car as normal. I'm not trying to be fuel efficient, giving it some every now and then on the motorway. And speaking of motorway, I've driven this car probably a good 60-40 split. So 60% around town, 40% on the motorway. On the motorway, I did notice this car was pretty good. The fuel gauge wasn't moving very much, but around town, as it says on the statistics, this car does 19.6 miles per gallon. Now, in the real world, it probably is doing a little bit less, but on average, I'm getting 23.9. The car is meant to be doing 25. The reading on the car is showing 25.7. So overall, it's there or thereabouts to what this car is meant to be doing. After 17 years and 125,000 miles, I think, in my eyes, this is a good car. And the fuel consumption is as expected from what the car is meant to be doing, so that you won't be in for any strange surprises if you buy one of these cars and it's running correctly. So on that note, guys, I'm going to end today's video here. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope it's given you a good insight into the real world driving and what it's like to own this car, fuel it up, and just see how many miles you can get with one of these big old tanks. So hopefully you've enjoyed it, and if you have, smash up that like button and hit that subscribe button if you want to see more things like this on the channel. But as always, guys, thank you so much again for watching. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I'm going to see you next Sunday at 6 p.m. Take care, guys.